Hey, Justin.
Hey, Andros, what's up, man?
Just we're on the verge of the eve of destruction, as they say.
Yeah, World War III around the corner.
Yeah. But, it's the end of the world as we know it, but I feel fine.
That's good.
So there you go. Yeah. So, hey, let's do some news then. Cause, stuff is happening outside of just total annihilation of humans. So let's just dive into the world of tech, shall we? And
Yeah, let's just dive right in there. Let's do it.
great, because I feel like there's actually some positive news out there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Andrew Sturgeon.
And I am Justin Womack.
We are the Marketing Geeks.
Marketing Geeks.
Okay, so man, stuff has been happening. What you got a few stories for me, yeah?
Yeah, I want to talk about a few things. I want to get into current events. There was one thing that came up for me recently with one of my clients where he is doing a lot of SMS marketing, so text message marketing. He's using Twilio, and he kind of caught me up on the latest with compliance and privacy standards for text messaging. So if you're like me, you probably get a lot of spam text messages, and there's people that are like phishing where they pretend to know you. They're like, hey, is this still your phone? Or you get these like weird messages which will start the rabbit hole of whatever scam they're trying to run. Well, apparently that's gotten so prevalent that the U.S. has started to crack down on how people can qualify to send broadcasts, so big bulk text messages to people, and they've introduced new standards. So there's something called A2P, which is application to person standards that you have to meet, and then there's something called 10DLC, which I forget what that stands for, but it's essentially what you're doing is you have to assign your business with a brand and tax ID, and you really have to do a significant verification process now before you're able to send broadcast text. And this went into effect in September of this year. So this is brand new. So if you've seen a decrease in text message marketing, that is probably why as well, until scammers figure out a better way to get around it. So
Yeah, they'll just send it from Russia or whatever.
yeah.
Spoof the numbers until they get blocked.
So it's kind of a complicated process through Twilio. You have to register your brand. You have to register every phone number as compliant with the standards, and you have to, if you're using API connections, which if you're using Twilio, you pretty much are. All of those have to be kind of vetted as well. So there's a significant wait period right now to get approved. But I went through the process with my clients. It's not too difficult. It's just time consuming, and it's very techy. So if you're not a tech person, you're gonna get stuck. I guarantee that, because I struggled with it a bit myself.
Yeah, I actually tried to connect a web chat to phone on Twilio, and I'm pretty good with this sort of thing, but I didn't quite crack that code, and I just found a simpler solution. So
yeah, the Twilio is way overcomplicated. Their user interface, but I figured it out. I got it now.
Oh, okay. Well, good for you. So you just up leveled, right? Your skill set.
Yeah. What about you for marketing news? What do you got in today's stories?
Oh man, so much. Well, first of all, Elon Musk.
I know him. Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, that guy. He has been charging users $1 annually to stop bots, as he says. According to the New York Post and several other outlets, Elon Musk pushed through a $1 annual fee for new users in his social media site X, which will always be Twitter as far as I'm concerned, to unlock basic features such as posting or sharing content. A move the billionaire claims is the only way to defeat automated spam bot accounts. I actually think that this is going to backfire tremendously. No one is going to pay $1, even if it's for a year, for that dumpster fire of a platform.
I was reading that he was even considering $1 for lifetime access to it. But even so, it's the same principle. I mean, people are not going to pay $1. Now, the other thing to consider here is I believe he would grandfather in any existing accounts. They would not be charged $1. What I was understanding about it, I could have misinterpreted it. but any new users would have to pay that fee. And this is, like you said, this is what he claims is the only thing that he can come up with to eliminate the bot problem on Twitter. I think it's a bad idea. I agree with you.
Yeah. Him running Twitter is a bad idea. Existing X users are not affected by the test, according to Musk. New accounts who decide not to pay the $1 per year fee will only be able to read posts, watch videos, and follow other accounts. And here, I believe there's something a little more insidious here, actually. For a long time, Musk has been talking about doing this thing where he has like an everything app. That was his idea originally with PayPal. He wanted to have like an app that does everything. Basically, what they have in China, like the I think it's WeChat, and where it basically, you need that app in order to do everything in China. You need it to, it's like PayPal, it's your social media, it's your YouTube, it's everything. And it's also heavily monitored by the Chinese government. So I think that the idea here is for Musk to not fight bots. That may be part of it, but I think it's also to start getting credit card information on people.
That's really interesting, Andros, because I didn't think about it like that. Now, and going back, remember, before Musk got involved with PayPal, his company that he started was called X. That was the name of the payment processing or merchant that he created, and then he got absorbed into PayPal at some point. He has said before he bought Twitter that he has dreamed of creating that everything app. He's called it X from the beginning, so he's always wanted to call it X. And he finally pulled that trigger, and now we have X instead of Twitter. And every time I read an article about somebody's tweets or whatever, nobody knows how to write, and they're always like, the app formerly known as Twitter. And on the note of how he wants to collect information, I mean, yes, like he not only is he positioning himself to get credit card information, but he also just put out that verification process for getting blue or check marks or whatever at Twitter, and is charging money. And he's now adding a second layer of identity where you have to upload. I believe you have to upload a driver's license or maybe multiple forms of ID to get your Twitter profile with a gold check mark or something. I don't remember exactly what that gets you, but I mean, he's getting a lot of personal information that could be used exactly for what you're saying.
Yeah, and out of all the people I would trust with my information, much less a brain link, I definitely wouldn't even give that guy my personal information on any level. And so I and the other thing is, I don't know what his obsession with X is. There's maybe I do. When I was 13, I thought that X was like a cool number, like X-Men or like whatever. I mean, but I grew up.
You grew out of it.
Yeah, I became an adult, and I also can't afford to do all the cocaine. So
on Twitter, I find really interesting because, okay, so this $1 thing would likely hurt their user growth. And I mean, almost certainly, it certainly would. It wouldn't even likely. It definitely would hurt their user growth. It'll hurt their numbers as far as the people registered for Twitter and how that looks to advertisers. I think it's probably not a good move, especially, I mean, even if it makes advertising more efficient on there, it's going to be a bad look, and advertisers are going to probably be scared off by it. Plus, I don't know if you saw this, but when you run an ad on Twitter, actually, let me back up. When you're on Twitter now, Elon Musk has introduced a feature called Community Notes. Maybe you've heard of that. Community Notes is a way where people can add context to news stories that have been released in the media, and it's kind of functions like Wikipedia, from my understanding, where you kind of submit it. A few other users have to verify that something is true, and then they can post into the Community Notes if it gets enough votes. And Elon Musk has left that feature on for advertisers also. So I've come across several ads where a company is making a pitch for a product. There was one, for example, was this Apple app that was basically built on the backbone of ChatGPT, and they were just charging money to use ChatGPT basically through their app. And Community Notes actually put a label on there that was like, you don't need this. You can get a free account at OpenAI or chat.openai.com. You can get a free account. And it just made me laugh. Like, why would you allow Community Notes to to diss on advertisers who are like the only funding source for your company right now, and you're already struggling. We know advertisers have left in droves. It's just interesting. His some of his priorities are kind of mixed. They're kind of strange.
Yeah, and even aside from that, he's fired like the community safety people, and they found that he was during the election in Turkey recently, where they were voting for a guy who's basically a fascist over there, and he was found to shut off Twitter essentially, so there could be no discourse. I mean, the guy for the bastion of free speech that he says he is, he has definitely put his thumb on the scale many times, and I'm just hoping that I mean, it's interesting though, because I read another article recently that mentioned that people seem to be leaving social media. I don't know if that's true, but because everybody seems to be on their phones, but I think that there's a disillusionment with social media. I mean, originally Facebook was just like a way for me to kind of keep in touch with people. It was see photos, catch up on what people are doing. And now it's like constant ads. It's and my crazy, ex friends who have drank the Kool-Aid. I just can't anymore.
Facebook has become very corporatized. I mean, like you said, ads everywhere. If you want to just kind of share content and kind of get the best content, you're not going to get that. You're going to get the content that's going to generate the most number of clicks, or the content that's going to that people are paying to push out, which is probably a good segue into the story about how Meta is being sued by California and 41 other states because their algorithm is allegedly favoring or creating addictive patterns, or triggering addictive patterns in children and teens, and that the marketing is targeted for that demographic. And I mean, I have to say that, yes, I believe that is 100% true. I don't know if technically it's illegal or not, but I mean, 100% they are targeting to teens and they are purposely manipulating your dopamine levels in order to create an addictive pattern in how you engage with the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole purpose of it. And in that vein, they're also, and this is the interesting thing, because I think what has happened is that social media has hit this like growth point where it's like, okay, we've been dumping money into this thing for years, but how do we really make money back, especially if advertising is getting blocked on some of these platforms, or they know that they're going to have to be forced to change their algorithm on some level. So how do you, and people are not willing to pay for social media. They would just leave.
But that's the alternative. I mean, I don't know if you saw in the UK, they're rolling out a beta with Facebook or Meta will charge, I think, like $20 a month or something if you want to opt out of ads to use Facebook or Instagram. So they're actually going to be testing whether or not people will pay for social media in the UK, because the privacy standards are so strict over there that Facebook needed to kind of give themselves an out. And so they're testing a subscription model, which I don't think people will pay for social media. I could be wrong. I'm not really sure. That's my opinion.
I definitely would not. I mean, if I could curate my own timeline, and and I know that the people that are on there are like people that I want to talk to, but unfortunately, too many people I know, went crazy, and I don't want to interact with those people. So is it going to stop people getting radicalized on social media? I don't think so. Unless you can change your algorithm, and unless I can control my own data and not have it sold to, because it doesn't guarantee that they're not going to sell your data to third-party providers anyway. So no, I don't, but the question is, and this is the existential problem that almost every platform has, how do you, unless you're Tinder, how are you going to, make money aside from advertising? And the more ads you put in there, the more it turns people off. So on that note, another story that just came out is YouTube is now blocking ad blockers. I have a bunch of ad blockers on my plugins on my Chrome browser, so I never see ads ever. And then I have an ad blocker on my phone too, and but it recently stopped working. So, but whenever I watch videos on my computer, but recently when I go there, it tells me you have an ad blocker, and we're not going to play this video unless you disable it. So the question there is, or I have to pay, for $15.99 or whatever it is for YouTube Premium, and you pay for that. And I want to ask you why in a second. But the question is how important is YouTube to me if I have to sit through an ungodly amount of ads because they're adding more and more of them and they're unskippable? So is it worth it to me? I mean, I've got better shit to do with my time anyway. So you have YouTube Premium. What is it like for you, and why do you pay for it?
I do have it. Well, number one, I can't do YouTube with ads. Like I can't do it. I can't handle. I don't care if it's 10 seconds then skip or 20 seconds then skip. I can't handle it. So I've been on YouTube Premium for years now because I just don't want to watch those ads because they're just unbearable for me. But now YouTube is one of my primary channels that I watch. I mean, of all the subscriptions that I pay for, which like I go on and off with like HBO Max or with Paramount Plus or Netflix or whatnot, YouTube is by far the most utilized of all those. So, I mean, what's funny is I'd probably better off paying for YouTube and getting rid of a lot of my other ones. But I mean, I use it, and yes, I do waste time on there, and I'm not always like educationally driven content, but now my son is also on there too, able to watch without having to watch all those ads. And I don't know if you've been around your son when he's playing like a phone game or on YouTube when the ads blocker's not on, but some of the ads that they get fed are like really adult oriented and not like there's like sex-based video games that my son will get ads for while he's playing like on the phone. So it's very strange. So I mean, I didn't even realize that an ad blocker would work on YouTube's platform. So I mean, if I had known that, I probably would have been doing what you were doing. But because I've already been paying it, I don't plan on stopping. I'll just keep paying the subscription.
Are there other features that you get that you use, or is it just ads?
I think there are. I mean, like the only thing that I could think of that rolled out when it first came out was that you could minimize the app on your phone and you could still listen to the audio of a video. They wouldn't let you like minimize the screen. I don't know if you've seen where now a lot of video players will let you minimize the screen. You can like look at other apps while the video still plays on your screen in like the bottom right corner.
Yeah, you could even shut off. I mean, there's music stuff, so like you can use it like Spotify. That's
but YouTube still doesn't allow that. They don't allow that. They
really
they allow you to only listen to the audio.
Yeah.
But not actually like minimize the video like that. But there are other features. I don't even know what they are. The only reason I pay is for that ad blocker. And I've been happy with it. I think I waste more money on subscriptions like Max or Peacock or whatever the flavor of the month is than I do on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I pay for the same service of YouTube that I do for all my streaming services, thanks to a site known as Irate Pay, which I go to occasionally.
The favorite letter is R.
So well, interesting, and I don't know if I would really pay for YouTube. So but it's obviously there's a thing that these tech companies are up against the wall now, because they've got to figure out how to be grown up. And the question is, and I've said this for many years, do we need social media? Is it something that we actually need? And I don't think so,
When you say, do we need it as a society? Absolutely not. Do we, are we willing to give it up? I very much doubt that. I highly, highly doubt that people are actually leaving social media in droves. And if they did, they'd probably be going to some other, stimulus-driven platform or whatever the next big thing will be, where they're investing the same amount of time and the same amount of useless energy into the next thing. So I don't see us turning back the clock and getting back to a more conversation-driven society or anything. I don't see that happening.
I know, and you're talking to a guy who will be reading. I'll be on my computer. I'll be looking at Reddit, and I'm thinking, I gotta, shut this off and do work, and I shut it off, and then I pick up my phone and I go on Reddit. I mean, it's so stupid.
A long time ago, we talked about how these advertising platforms like Facebook's or just any advertising platform is based on a lot of principles that were learned from Las Vegas casinos. They use a lot of the same tricks. They use a lot of these influence patterns, manipulation tactics, whatever you want to call them. But they are absolutely manipulating people. And I'm going to be interested to follow the lawsuit against Meta about appealing to kids and triggering addiction patterns in kids, because I'm just very curious how that plays out in the court of law. I mean, they are absolutely guilty. It's just a matter of are they actually liable for it, or is the question, because they are guilty.
Here's what's going to happen. Yes, they're guilty. They have to pay a $50 million fine, which is what they make in a few hours. It's the price of doing business, and then they're going to keep on doing it. That's the order of the day, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, that's happened before. Didn't they pay I think they paid a bigger fine than that in privacy lawsuit in the UK previously, or European Union. That was like a couple $1 billion. And they paid it, and they're fine, and they went on with their lives. And you're right. That's probably exactly what will happen.
Didn't even hurt their quarter. It did not even hurt their quarter. So, for a lot of companies that would bankrupt them. But, and here's the problem with like late stage capitalism in the United States. I believe in capitalism. Don't think that I don't. But in truth, if it's worked properly, I mean, you got to play by the rules. Candyland has rules, right? So you gotta play by the rules. But the problem is that if you're super successful, our society is not set up for these types of organizations that are this big and this powerful. And so if the worst that's going to happen is they're going to get paid, a few million, $1 billion, and they can pay that fine. But in the United States, a corporation is considered a person. And if I did some of these things that these organizations get fined for, I would be in jail, right? And I would have my livelihood taken away from me. So until a corporation can be put to death the way that a person can for killing people, I think that we need to rethink the laws. I mean, I fully believe if you break those types of laws, you should be not allowed at all to, advertise towards children, or at least have some heavy disclaimers or something. I mean, it's an
interesting point. I mean, yeah, a corporation is treated like a person, except when it comes to consequences, because they're, they are treated with fines and civil penalties, but they're not treated with capital punishment. Nope. They're not treated with other types of punishment. They don't really face direct jail time, and I mean, not the same way anyway. So it is a little bit of a mismatch there with the comparison to them as a person, because they seem to have some freedoms that people do not have at getting away with things.
Exactly.
Now, the individuals they can go after the individuals within the corporation, but they rarely do.
But they don't. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the people who make these decisions, and the only time that ever happens is like when you look at Bankman-Fried, or you look at Elizabeth Holmes, and the reason why they got busted is because they ripped off rich people.
Yep.
And as long as you don't rip off rich people, you can basically do whatever you want. So
and their stories went viral also on top of that. So if you can, I mean, for every viral story where there actually is somebody who gets busted, there's probably 1,000 of the exact same story where they fly under the radar, avoid consequences, and just keep doing it over and over again, enabling like a predatory pattern.
Exactly. So the question is, do we need social media? Do we need to support these companies that continue to do this? But one company that I would support.
Yeah, who?
I would support a sex robot provider.
Ooh.
You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, it is time for the Sex Robot Report. Give it up.
It's back.
It's back. All right. So, have you ever been to a brothel? I will not answer that question while on a podcast. Is probably what you're thinking. But there is an opportunity for you. So here's the interesting thing. This is what I always wondered. If you let's say that you have a sex robot and you have sex with that robot, is that considered cheating, or is that considered like having a sex toy?
I think as we move forward in society, it'll become more and more considered cheating. I think we're moving in that direction, but right now it's still probably relatively safe. But I do think that we're moving more and more towards giving machines human rights. So if you're asking me the question, I'm just telling you that's my opinion. I think by in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you could be charged with a crime for being too frisky with your sex robot.
Well, what if someone else is controlling the sex robot? Is that are you cheating with someone else, or
definitely?
Really?
No, I don't know.
I don't know either. I have no.
It's great. Those are great. Great questions, great mind benders, or what do they call those? Great thought experiments.
Yeah. Well, how about this? According to The Sun, inside the world's first cyber sex brothel, where customers can pay £228, this is in Britain, obviously, to romp with sex robots, and VR brings kinky dolls to life. So, according to
how much was it? How much did it cost? £200?
£228 is about. I think that's roughly about like $250.
And they get to romp with robots and in VR too. How does VR get involved?
Well, lucky for you, I'm going to read the story. It's 10 a.m. on Monday, and I'm inside the cyber brothel in Berlin, the world's first immersive brothel where customers can pay £228 for an hour with a robotic sex doll called Kokechi.
Kokechi.
If you're using a sex doll that someone else has used, there's definitely a Kokechi that you could get. You could definitely.
That is a great point. Yep.
Here, a man and machine come together, as it were, through. I see what they did there. Through trailblazing technology. We are the future of sex, says Philip Fussinger. That's a
what a name.
Philip Fussinger, with 2 P's and 2 S's and 2 G's. We want to create an adult playground and a new way of experiencing pleasure. As well as sex robot dolls, a cyber brothel also has regular sex dolls, which, quote, come to life through VR. AI exists, so we have to embrace it, says Philip. Having sex is a way. Maybe I should sound like a cyber pimp, like a British cyber pimp when I read this part.
You should definitely.
AI exists, so we have to embrace it, says Philip. Having sex this way isn't something to be scared of. It can't compete with conventional sex with humans. It's just different. How's that? That
was good. I
love
love
it. Nail it?
Yeah, you got it. You got it down. So wait, what do the VR goggles do exactly?
I don't know.
So these like run down like old fashioned sex robots. Maybe like they don't even have a head. You put on the VR goggles, suddenly they look like they have like a beautiful face and body because the VR fills in the blanks, or what's going on here?
Like an augmented reality thing? Well, let us read on. Sex tech entrepreneur and co-founder of Cybrothel, Matthias Samata, adds, surprisingly, VR porn is very popular among women and couples. Really? I think women like to experience how it would feel to have a penis. A woman can put on a... Okay. Oh, sorry about this. I got to get through this sentence. I'm sorry. A woman can put on a strap-on penis and have sex with the doll in front of them. What would that do? Like, what is it? Like, I'm going to put on a strap-on and have sex with a sex doll?
What does the VR? What does the VR do to change the experience? What is that? It's just augmenting things.
Well, when they put on the VR headset, they will see the doll moving and talking to them. It's a bit like a sexy Siri.
And is it like AI powered? I mean, is this an AI powered conversation here, or are we still kind of
I
on?
think so.
Okay.
One time a woman asked the doll what it wanted, and it said more people, and so they ended up having a threesome. Is this real life? 2 people and 1 doll. The technology is really amazing. Philip, who has been described as the Willy Wonka of sex.
By who? By himself?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Tells us how his website is the X-rated version of Booking.com. Our sex dolls are silicone and life size. Oh my God. Our customers can choose their hair color, her outfit, the type of role play or kink, and if they want this doll to talk or not. The dolls speak English and German. If you've booked, you will get an email from us which will tell you where to go and when you arrive at our brothel, and the doll will be waiting in the position you want.
So the brothel is like Booking.com, but when does the Uber of sex robots come out where they come right to your house?
Yeah, and are they topless? I mean, if they are, I would just call that business boober, right? I mean, obviously. Thank you. I'm here all week. You will have no interaction with another human while you're here. You can choose different packages depending on what your kink is. I am not one to kink shame. I'm really not. Like, I'm open to whatever you want to do as long as it's consenting adults and it's not like a creepy age gap. I'm pretty okay with most things. But here I'm going to have to kink shame the shit out of this. Cuz
Yeah, I mean,
what
you're involving robots now. It's no longer between humans. There are robots. They're probably not even that highly advanced. I mean, I think the need for VR goggles is a flag, in my opinion, because why do you even need them? Like, why would that be a good thing? That seems like that would be distracting and like terrible to have on your head.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever had sex with VR goggles?
I've rarely even worn VR goggles. So
I mean, sometimes I'll put on VR goggles, with my wife and fantasize I'm somebody else. Well, what else you got for me, man? Are we good with that? I think we better just get the fuck out of here.
No, I mean, I think I don't know how to top that.
Yeah, I don't either.
That was an incredible return to form for the Sex Robot Report, which hasn't been on this program for over a year, probably.
I know.
So what a return with a vengeance.
We have some catching up to do.
Maybe next time we talk, I'm looking into a lot of like what's going on in the state of Oregon with psychedelic therapies and things like that. So that's always a fascinating topic to me. I've been researching a bit about like psilocybin is the one that's all the craze right now because Oregon approved it for therapeutic use. I believe they're the first state. There might have been other states. I don't know. California almost did, but Newsom vetoed it, interestingly enough. But there's a huge license fee to become a practitioner or facilitator of a psilocybin trip experience for a client. And there's a even larger license fee to become a company that can host clients for that experience. So they're talking about, I think, like $25,000 for the company per year. And like 2,500 maybe for the facilitator around there. Those are ballpark numbers. I'd have to double check what they are. I'm interested though to see how this plays out. I saw that the early stories about the first clinic, we'll call it a clinic, that opened up in Eugene, Oregon, are that they're saying that they're going to charge like $2,500 or around there for a psilocybin experience. That is incredibly high, very, very expensive. Now, because they're the only place in the U.S. where you could get it legally, they might still attract, rich people who want to be first. But there's no way that that's a sustainable business over the long haul, especially if psilocybin starts getting legalized in more and more states. I mean, that is way, way high, and they're gonna pay a price for price gouging that much up front in the long term if a year from now companies are charging like a tenth of that for the same thing.
Or you could just
that's my thing.
When I lived in Oregon, I just called my buddy Nate and just gave him $50. So
there you go. Nate.
Call Nate. Nate, if you're listening, I miss you, buddy.
Get ready for your cell phone to blow up with text messages and calls.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we better close off this episode before we get in any more trouble.
That's right.
I'm Andros Sturgeon.
And I am Justin Womack.
We are the Marketing Geeks, and we are out.
Stay classy.
Marketing Geeks, come on, bring your friends. We'll learn marketing from distant lands. Andros Sturgeon and Justin Womack, the fun will never end. It's Marketing Geeks.
Marketing Geeks.